What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Coming at you with another review video. This one's a fun one. We're doing it in my car. So I'm just on my lunch break, so I decided to record this video. My little Potbelly drink here, my favorite. I wish I was sponsored by Potbelly. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome? Anyway, this is the video you've all been waiting for. It's been highly anticipated. It's been months in the making. This is the review for Hoppers. Hoppers is the best movie of 2026 by far, hands down. Oh my god, what a fantastic film. All right, guys, I'm talking this is probably Pixar's best movie in the 2020s. I'm not counting Soul because I haven't seen it. So Hopper's sweep. I don't care about Project Hail Mary or Avengers Doomsday or Dune 3 or anything else. Nothing else matters. Hoppers is the #1 movie of all time. That is all that matters. So let's talk about Hoppers. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, please go see it. It's the best movie. So good. Pixar has really outdone themselves again by just making a movie that's just absolutely insane. Okay, so fair warning, there will be spoilers for this review, because the movie's been out for like a month now, and I'm gonna talk about it because it's so good. All right, so first off, what's Hoppers about, right? So Hoppers is about this girl in college named Mabel, and she cares very deeply about the environment and this little glade that her grandma used to help her look after when she was a kid. So she's very passionate about this kind of stuff. So we find out that the mayor of this town, which is called Beaverton, is trying to build a highway over this glade. And that's not pretty. That kind of sucks. So she's like, I'm going to stop this from happening. And she doesn't do a very good job because they blow up the dam, the beaver dam. She's like, where the fuck are all the beavers? So she goes and talks to her professor at the college at Beaverton University, and she's like, we need to save the glade. And she's like, and the professor's like, we can't do that. Like, no animals live there anymore. She's like, that's quite odd. That's quite odd. So she goes out there and tries to find an ant, like a beaver, and bring it back to the glade so she can save it, right? But that doesn't go over so well. And what she ends up finding is she finds a beaver there at night. And what happens is she finds that this beaver is actually a robot controlled by the professor. Like, she puts her brain into the robot, and that's called hopping. So they're hoppers. Isn't that crazy? It's fucked up. It's awesome, right? So whatever. Long story short, Mabel steals it. She's like, I'm gonna use this beaver suit. I'm gonna use this opportunity to save the glade myself as a beaver. Like, I'm gonna get a beaver to go there, and it's gonna be awesome. So she goes and she steals it, runs away, finds a beaver. Beaver almost gets eaten. She stops it, and then she has to go see the king, right? And the king is just this chill ass dude. He's like, let's party and shit. I don't know. He's just a cool dude. He's like, well, everyone lives here now because we had to move out of the glade. I was like, why the fuck you had to move out of the glade? She's like, because it's really loud. And so they go do some investigating, and we find out that Jerry, that son of a bitch, put up a bunch of speakers that emit frequencies that only animals can hear. So Mabel can't hear it in the beaver suit, or I guess as a person in general. So apparently, what she does is she goes and she tears down this giant ass fake metal tree, and gets saved. Not really. Well, she saves the glade, allegedly, right? So they're like, oh, the sun is gone. Let's all move back in. We're gonna build a dam. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so cool. And then George is like, hey, Mabel, I want you to be my second in command. And Mabel's like, I don't think I can do that. I am a beaver. I'm definitely a beaver. And so that's not going over too well, right? And then so what happens is they're hanging out, having a good time. And then they find out, Jerry finds out that the animals moved back in. And it's like, that's not going to work. So we have to put more up. So they do it again. They blow up the dam a second time. Everyone gets moved back into the big party house type pond. And it was like, this isn't going to work. We need to summon the council of animals or some shit. So they do that. And then it's all these like different like animal groups. So there's like a monarch of every like a different like animal like subspecies. So there's like so like King George, the Beaver King, he's like the mammal king. So now there's an insect queen, there's a bird king, a fish queen, a snake queens. I don't know, there's 3 of them. So whatever. And they're like, this is a problem. We need to stop the humans. And so the insect queen, Meryl Streep, is like, we're gonna kill him. We're gonna kill Jerry. That's the easiest thing to do. We're just gonna kill him. And Mabel's like, you can't kill Jerry. What the fuck? And so they get into an argument, and like Meryl Streep is all up in Mabel's face, and she's a bug, right? And so Mabel, being like an actual person normally, right, kills her. She straight up murders the insect queen on camera. And it's just like jaw drop, because like you actually just witnessed a murder in a Pixar movie. And then all shit breaks loose, right? They're running away, they're trying to escape because they're about to be like you killed you killed a sovereign entity, like monarch. That's not gonna fly. And so they run away. They get saved by one of the professor's like lab assistants in another like bird suit. So they save him. They save Mabel and George. They escape. They think the other animals think that they're dead. Crazy, right? So then what happens is we go back to Mabel, and they're like, George is like, what the hell? Like, what did you do? And then Mabel, is like, I am upset because I'm sorry, whatever. Like it's just tough because I can't like make a difference or whatever the hell, right? And that's pretty important. So like George is like, I got you. We're gonna fix this. So then they go and kidnap Jerry. Well, not really. They kind of like sit in the car with like steal his phone and use like text to speech to like make him do things. And then this is where it gets nuts, because remember how they're like, we're gonna kill Jerry. So the whole thing is like they're gonna summon an apex predator. What that means is when they're driving, all these birds start diving into the water, and then you know what happens? They pull out a fucking shark. Okay? And they're like, the shark is like sentient, right? Because they're talking. And so it's like, we gotta kill him. She's like, or like the shark is like, hi, I'm gonna kill you now. Sorry. And then they don't let it happen, but they're just like, there's a bunch of birds flying a shark around. And then they throw the shark on the car. Whatever, yada, yada, yada. All that happens. The car crashes. Jerry's like, what is happening? And so they're like, Mabel's like, you gotta stop the highway or they're gonna kill you. He's like, I'm not gonna stop the highway. Mabel's like, all right, they're gonna kill you. But then what happens is the professor catches Mabel, puts her back in her regular body. The George finds out that Mabel is actually like a robot. Obviously is clearly upset. And then they get jumped by the rest of the animals, and that's over. And then you're like, what? Then you wake up. Mabel wakes up, and it's just like tied up in the lab with Jerry, and Jerry doesn't have any clothes on. And they're like, what is going on? And so then you see like animals have like Mabel, have like the professor and everyone like hostage. They're like, what is happening? And what we find out is that they made a robot body for the insect queen's son, who like went from being a caterpillar to like a fully grown like butterfly or whatever. It was weirdly disgusting, crazy scene. And like, we're gonna put his mind into a robot animatronic body of Jerry. So it's literally like Five Nights at Freddy's sister location with fucking Ennard. They're like, we put his brain into this fake body. And so the dude, the Insect King now, he's like, yeah, I found out those speakers you made, we can actually just use it to mass murder humans. So we're gonna do that. We're like I'm going to kill everyone. Because like Jerry's got like he's like the mayor, right? So he's got like a re-election rally. Like we're gonna kill all these people. And so obviously like, what the fuck? We're talking about like actual like mass euthanasia in a Pixar movie. This is crazy. This is crazy, right? So now you're like, what do we do? What do we do? So Mabel gets Jerry to put his mind in the beaver costume. Well, not the beaver costume, but the beaver suit, the beaver robot, the beaver FNAF. And so he like breaks him out, and he's got like his little stupid like hairdo and his little purple tie. It's funny. It's really funny. But he's like a beaver, so it's hilarious, right? And then what happens is we get to the rally, and they're like all the animal like monarchs are in like a van, like watching it like on it's like FNAF. They're watching it on like a tape, like on like the security camera footage, right? And like the scientists are like tied up too and whatever. And so what they're doing basically is Mabel like runs up to like fake Jerry in this rally, and in front of like all of his like supporters, she's like, "I'm sorry I killed your mom." What the hell? Crazy. Just absolutely just one of the funniest lines of movie I've ever seen. Like, this is a children's movie, and it's just so completely unhinged. I love it. Right? So, yada yada yada. He pretends to cry, and then he's like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna kill you anyway." They fight. They trick him into like standing on like the little pad, so it's like his mind gets put back in the insect body. And then George is like, "You know what? I was wrong. I need to stop this guy," because Mabel gave like an inspiring speech about something that George said once. And so they're fighting. He gets back in. They fight again. Phone gets like ejected across like the forest or whatever. And then Jerry goes like all like fake Jerry goes like spider mode and tries to like run after it on all fours. It's freaky. But then they fight more. They rip his face off. And then it was just like a straight up robot, like going like insane. And then he starts talking about like, "You know what? I'm just gonna murder everyone. Like, I don't even care about people. I'm gonna kill every other animal. Like, it's just gonna be all insects." And that's what you do, right? When like your villain starts to make a bit too much sense, you're just like, what if I want to kill everyone? That's what you do to like Magneto. That's what you do to like other people. I don't know, right? But it's isn't like a trend where it's like your villain starts to make too much sense, and then you just have to nerf him like crazy. You're just like, I want him to kill everyone. So that's what they did basically. So that's like one of my like only major issues with the movie, is that, you know, they obviously had to do that. So then they fight, whatever. Insect King gets booted back out of his body, like into his body, and then the Frog King eats him. So like another straight up murder. He's dead. And so there are no more robot bodies. All the robot bodies have been destroyed. There's a huge fire now because when fake Jerry's body exploded, it set off a forest fire. So they're like, "Ah, shit, this isn't gonna work." Glade burned down, gone. It's toast. And so Mabel's like, "Ah, shit, I gotta save George." So she's a regular person now, right? So she grabs George and they run away. Like they hop on the bear and they run over back to like the party dam pond, right? And they're like, "Shit, we gotta stop this fire." So they destroy the giant dam holding like essentially like a lake in place, and it just floods everything. And like it's not going well, right? They're struggling to do it. Then like all the other animals start helping, and then it gets better and better. And then they bring the shark back, and they use the shark like a battering ram, and it just gone. No more dam. Floods the thing. Everyone is saved. Yay! No more fire. And then Mabel and George make it back to the glade, and they're like, "Oh man, everything's all fucked up. Shit, my bad." And then she sees Jerry like bringing like a construction crew. She's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill him." Like after all this, and then Jerry's like, "We need to fix this place. We need to make it look like we weren't here before." And then so Mabel's like, "Oh shit, we're cool now." And then they make a difference. And that's the other unrealistic part of the movie, is that they actually made a politician change his mind. So there's that. And that's the other big issue people have with this movie, apparently, is that, "Oh no, people can't change. Where. Shut the fuck up." I loved it. This movie was awesome. And then they have a nice heartfelt moment with Mabel and George hanging out, because Mabel's a person now. She can't talk to George like regularly. So they're just hanging out on this phone. He's, you know, hitting the beaver emoji. It's awesome. It's really cute. And then like there's a scene with the professor. She's like, yeah, the dean shut down Hoppers because we almost killed the entire world. So we can't do that anymore. And then there's like a huge major implications for Pixar, the Pixar universe type shit, where she's got like this whiteboard of all her other ideas, and there's the talking dog collar from Up. There's fucking Wall-E. I don't know, Wall-E's like my favorite movie ever, so like one of them. So that's a whole different thing. So that was kind of crazy, but a bunch of other like inventions that like pop up throughout the Pixar movies. Oh yeah, putting like more like Hopper type shit, putting like brains into cars. So major implications. But overall, that was Hoppers. I saw it three times in the movie theater. It was incredible, phenomenal movie of the year. I recommend you all see it at least once. I will probably go see it once or twice more. So just to let that sink in. But anyway, if you enjoyed this review, leave a comment, like, share, maybe. I don't know, that'd be pretty cool. And yeah. Bye.